Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so I have redesigned the lander a little bit, the launcher. I have redesigned it a little bit. It's not the most efficient design, and most of you guys know I'm not really one with efficiency as far as launches. I don't really care about that stuff. I just want to get the stuff into orbit and build my structures like I normally do. So the one thing I will be doing, though, is possibly refining this design a little bit. It's not in its best state right now, along with the staging isn't 100% there yet, because I've just been a little bit too busy with trying to figure out exactly what kind of launcher and everything else I want. But I will say it is looking pretty good. It does serve its purpose very well, and I'm liking a lot of the new parts, only I have been finding a few bugs here and there with some of the parts. Now, I'm not going to complain too much because, I mean, it's been a long time since an update, but I have been noticing some very extreme oscillations with some of the parts, and it just doesn't look right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Is it looks okay, but it really does kind of have a very ugly look to it. That's all I'm going to say. It really doesn't look that good. So you guys can see it right now. There's the oscillations will start here and there, but to me, this game should still have some of the same characteristics as the old Kerbal Space Program parts, as far as the ability for them to stick together and to remain one part, but these things kind of get some really funky oscillations, and they just really don't look that good sometimes when they're doing that. Get rid of these guys. Perfect. That was absolutely perfect. It will be taken off into a polar orbit for the first time in a long time, since I don't know if I've actually done a polar orbit in a long time, but yeah, so we're going to be doing, at least I hope, at least in this video, we'll be doing some kind of asteroid capturing in this video. I don't know how far we're going to go. It will probably be split up into kind of like 2 episodes or something, but I'm going to kind of show you guys some of the mechanics of trying to capture an asteroid. I was considering doing the tutorial program, but I think, well, I don't know if it's tutorial or whatever, but yeah, anyways. I figured I was going to do that, and then I noticed that you couldn't really change any of the ships or any of the mechanics. It was all just kind of stock. I thought you would actually be able to build your own rocket in that program, but you can't actually do anything. It just is very restricted, which I don't really like. So we'll be looking at a Class E asteroid, at least in this video. I'm going to try to rendezvous this video. So that's all I'm going to say about that. In trying, definitely going to be trying with all my might to get to this asteroid. So we need to pull up just a little bit. We kind of leveled off a little bit too low of a height. Got to get a little bit more altitude. We're almost in orbit, which is actually pretty good. And I'm pretty happy with these new parts. The engines, they work very well. But like I said, with the physics, you get these really extreme oscillations sometimes where the rocket is just really flying around. It's in a circular motion, which it really doesn't, it kind of removes a good portion of the realism of the game. I know it's not 100% realistic, but at the same time, if things just don't look good, you just kind of can tell. And I'm not trying to be nitpicky. I love this game, and I just have problems with certain things and here and there, so I just that's just my thing. I guess I don't like to complain, but at the same time, I always will give my criticisms of these things. Let's see, we got a pretty good orbit already built up here. Let's just do a little bit more of a burn. That's looking absolutely perfect. So let's get ourselves into space right now. I just wait for that music. The music is my cue. Come on, come on. And music. No music? Yeah, there we go. Music. Why can't are we throttled up? That's not cool. I didn't even know we were throttled up. Hopefully we didn't really expend any fuel, or very little fuel. So the one thing I will say too is it is a little excessive on how much you can actually push into orbit now, and like you guys can see right now, I just pushed a massive ship into orbit. So that is the other thing I am a little bit concerned with when it comes to these new parts. But you know, once again, the engines are more powerful, they're bigger fuel tanks, bigger everything, so it has changed dramatically. So I am okay with that, but it's just, how excessive can it get? There we go. We'll just push away a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. But I will say that these parts look a little bit more realistic. The only problem I have is with this part here. The other one, there's a smaller version with the same lines on it. The lines don't line up, and that drives my OCD like to new extremes. So that's all I'm gonna say. So I have a Asteroid tracked right now. This is the one we will be going to, hopefully going to. But let's see, is this fairly well lined up? That's not that bad. We're gonna have to burn a little bit of fuel to get ourselves lined up, but that isn't gonna be too bad. Now, the one thing I have a complaint about with this new asteroid tracking system and everything else is, say we want to go to this guy, or at least we want to track him. Now, we have to actually go into the tracking station and leave our flight in order to track this. And in the tracking station, on the lower left, if you want to know how to track them, if you haven't been able to figure it out, the screen itself, there's the button, I think where it is, where it says like recover vessel, changes to an actually like a little satellite dish, and it's blue, and it says track this asteroid. Now, the only thing I haven't found is untrack this asteroid if you don't want to track it, because I ended up having another. This was before I even realized that Class E was the biggest and Class A is the tiniest. I did not know that you can not untrack them, so I had to actually revert and completely delete whatever footage I had, because I was tracking somewhere around 50 objects, and at that point it becomes almost, you can't even make out where Kerbin is, you can't make out where any of your flights are going, and eventually you have so many asteroids that either end up in orbit around Kerbin, or in orbit, or they end up just having a flyby. I forgot what that, you know, they end up flying by Kerbin. I forgot what this is called again. It just gets to be just mayhem. That's all I'm gonna say. So what I'm going to do right now is I will be lining up our inclinations here just to make sure everything is looking pretty good. So I'll see you guys in a second. And we're back, guys. So yeah, I definitely took me a little bit of time to figure this out, but it wasn't so bad. We just gotta definitely... I burned a lot of fuel just trying to get this thing lined up. Definitely, I really gotta build a little bit bigger, or if not, add like maybe a little bit stronger engines, or I don't think the engines are really the issue so much. It's just the amount of fuel, and we'll definitely have to be adding or changing stuff. Now, I did waste about 50 or so days into my game, which isn't so bad, but I kind of planned on it basically taking a lot less time. So let's see, as this thing gets closer, it's going to basically speed up a little bit more, and the timing has to be almost absolutely perfect. So that's kind of one of the major things that I think is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to figure out, but hopefully we can get it. I think I'm just going to speed it up a little bit more until this can get close, and I'm gonna try to set up everything and do the burn here, so I'll see you guys in a minute. And we got our first view of the first asteroid we're gonna try and at least dock up to, or I don't know really what it's called. Well, if we captured it, then it would become a new moon, I guess. So yeah, this thing's looking pretty massive. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, that's what she said. We'll bring this over a little bit. There we go. Perfect. So we're going a little bit too slow for my liking, but I will probably leave it that way. How far are we? Okay, that is 1 hour away. That isn't going to be bad. I think what I'll do is actually kind of push us a little bit towards it. I know it was a little bit of a waste of fuel to completely stop, but I did not plan on doing that. So let's go up here and let's take a look at our new friend here. Hopefully, it's gonna play nicely. I don't think so, but you know, we'll hopefully get a little bit of nice play out of this guy. So let's... Oh my god, that is pretty freaking big, that's all I gotta say. Holy jeez, I don't even think we're gonna be able to get this guy into orbit. Yeah, let's bring this over. I don't know why I keep burning the opposite direction. I think it just feels like I'm getting close to a moon or something. So we'll leave it right there, just speed this up a little bit, and we'll just call it a day that way. Alright, okay. There we go. So what we're gonna have to do is kind of push ourselves a little bit around this asteroid, because we want to go on the opposite side of it. We are not going to basically get control of this asteroid by just using the SAS unit on our ship in order to turn it, because it probably has a very big mass compared to this tiny ship, so I don't think we're going to be able to really do very much to it as far as moving it with this ship. I don't think the SAS will be powerful enough to do something like that. So this thing is looking beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. So let's just spin around. I should have done that already. And oh god. There we go. So let's see what we can get. Alright. Just stop. I love these nuclear engines. That's the one thing I will say. Is for docking or anything, using nuclear engines is like the best. So let's see, what's our orbit at? Alright, I think we ended up not doing the right thing here. Hopefully, I think we can fix that. Because my plan is to put this guy into orbit, or at least try to. I don't know how well this is going to work, or if we're going to need more engines or something, but yeah, that probably isn't going to be the best course of action. Because if we burn this way, then yeah, no, that isn't going to work. So we're going to have to work our way back around it again. So let's... more wasted fuel. But I'll get our we'll get a little bit closer this time on this pass. I think that should be close enough. Doing a little bit more of exploration, and I'll just put the target so that way we don't. Ooh, god, yeah, this thing is looking huge. I'm surprised you can't go into orbit with something like this. All right, slow down. That would be pretty awesome to go into orbit. Alright, so we will turn on our RCS, and everything is at 45-degree angles, which I'm sure somebody's going to be like, why do you put at 45-degree angles? I hate you. I hate the way you dock and everything. It drives me nuts. Yes, I know. Let's see. Yeah, arm. So, let's see. I could fix this. I could remedy this easily. So this would be the up control. Alright, there we go. Just go like that. I don't know if I did put them at 45-degree angles or not. I may have. And we could just go like this. There we go. Remedied. Easily. Otherwise, I could have just used the, what is it? Forget the name of it. The cam. The chase cam. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to move up a little bit too, which I think I'm going to do before we actually get close enough to actually grab onto this guy. I'm probably going to end up getting it somewhere around here. That seems like a little bit more of a logical place. We'll slow down. And I'm not so concerned with the RCS fuel. I did bring a very good amount of RCS, so... we got, what, 100, or no, we got 1,200 units. That's more than what we need. But I plan on leaving this here. Hopefully everything will work out the right way. And, yeah, that's what I'm really looking for. If everything works just so nicely, we should be pretty good. I feel like I'm somewhere around the center of mass of this guy, but I'm not sure. Let's see. We're moving slightly off to the... there we go. And then just keep moving forward. Now, I'm not very good at the whole arming and all that stuff. It takes a little... it's a little funky the way it works, so... You have to be moving very slow, but it's a very specific kind of motion. So let's see. It looks like we're fairly... Oh, no, no, nope, nope. Looks like we're getting fairly close. It's hard to really tell how far away you are. There needs to be some kind of way to detect the exact amount of... Oh, there we go. We're getting real close now. Should be some kind of a way to detect exactly how close or far away you are. There we go. Holy crap. The only thing I will say is the texture looks a little silly right here. Oh, nope, now it's fixed. But if you zoom out, it gets a little weird looking. So, let's see. What is the... Oh, yeah, and now to detect the center of mass, we have to do the free pivot. And, what is it? Oh, yeah, target the center of mass, which apparently is... all the way over here? Yeah, I don't think we can do that. So, what happens if we just... Alright, now we will just target the... We'll remove the target here. Oh, okay, yeah. So the target center of mass is right here. Why is this oscillating so... It looks so bad looking with this oscillation. There we go. We'll just get this locked up. This oscillation is so bad. Let's see. Now the one thing I will say is to hotkey your pivot, because it will probably help you a little bit more than just using it this way. So let's see. I think we're off a little bit there. Just bring this down. There we go. That's looking really good. So yeah, we're gonna stop this guy. I don't really see that happening, but you know, whatever. Let's see. Now, are we even able to turn this entire asteroid? That just doesn't seem like it would be a very big possibility. Come on. What if I fire up my engines? That just doesn't even seem logical. Come on. Oh yeah, I gotta untarget the center of mass. If I use the RCS, will that do anything at all? I really don't think so. We are slowing it down ever so slightly, and it is changing the orbit a little bit here and there. But, oh, we are moving actually a little bit very, very slowly. Very, very slowly. Now, my main thing is I would love to get this guy into orbit. I don't know how far or how long it's going to take to actually do something like this, or if it's even going to be possible with the ship that I have right now. I don't even know if that is going to be enough to actually push this thing right into orbit very easily. I don't see it happening. It doesn't seem logical to me because of the actual mass of this giant asteroid, but that is absolutely insane in size. So I just can't believe that's just, wow. Much asteroid. Oh my god. Imagine building a ship around one of these things. That would just be insane. I don't even think you could do it. It would just wouldn't even... It would just be silly looking. If you actually put the engines around the center of mass and everything, and then you just put a command module on here, that would just be silly. Oh, it's oscillating. See, these are the oscillations I was talking about before. It just kind of removes a little bit of the realism involved with all of this. So, there we go. Wow, that didn't look right at all. That just didn't look right in any kind of way. So we'll keep slowing down. I don't know how far we're going to get with this. I don't even know if we're actually going to be able to stop this, but it looks like we are kind of bleeding some time off here, and we are making a little bit of a dent in the amount of time this thing is going to actually take. It looks like we're probably going to need a lot more Delta V, probably a lot more engines, or stronger engines, I should say. So let's get rid of this here. There we go. Just we'll humor this for a minute just to see what it's going to take. Just try to line this up a little bit. There we go. It's just rocking around like crazy. But we should be slowing this down just ever so slightly. This should be increasing, I believe. Yeah, it should be. So anyways, guys, I'll see you guys once we get this guy into orbit. I know I've had a few jumps, but I'll see you then. And it looks like we got something into orbit. It looks like it's in orbit. I'm going to keep doing a little bit more burning because this doesn't seem like it's very stable. We burned a lot of fuel. It took me a long time to get this guy, and I don't like how every time I zoom out or zoom in, it like basically clips into the asteroid or whatever, but it's not that big of a deal. So it took me a while to get this guy into orbit, but finally we tackled the Class E, the biggest asteroid basically in the game, at least for right now. I don't know if this is like the actual biggest weight of an asteroid that you can have, but it's pretty dang close. What can we do with this, by the way? Is there anything as far as... I'm pretty sure there's science-related stuff that we can do with this, but I'm not 100% certain. Wow. That is our total mass, which is probably the biggest mass I've ever seen in the game, next to, you know, planetary masses, which is totally different level, but 3,000 tons, that is just intense. So I'm gonna have to figure something out right now as far as trying to stabilize this, and also the one thing I had an idea of as far as stabilization is basically creating a series of smaller ships that have SAS modules and attaching one here and, you know, maybe one here and one here. But then I thought about it, and if these things are all operating individually, I don't know how well that would all work together. I don't know if this thing would just freak out or what it would do, basically. But, you know, this... I do have a lot of confidence in this design. It's like the little engine that could, basically, now. So, technically, you could say that Kerbin now has 3 moons in my save. So what I'm gonna try to do, and I don't know if this is gonna even be possible, or how many missions I would have to launch to even do this, because it would probably be just out of this, way out of the ballpark. But the one thing I wanted to do is try and get this onto a 90, a normal orbit, you know, preferably something, you know, a 0 orbit with Kerbin, just like all the rest of the stuff. And I'm probably going to end up leaving it somewhere in maybe, you know, a little bit past the moon. And I was going to try, maybe successfully, unsuccessfully, setting up a little base on this thing. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I don't want to really add to the masses right now, so I don't know how long it's really going to take to do all of this. But hopefully isn't going to be too bad. So anyways, guys, we have captured a Class E, just barely. That is amazing, and oh my god. So anyways, guys, if you like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. To all you new people, welcome. And yeah, I will see you next time.